Hello everybody, this is Rome Matthias as V's Viva Codes, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a virtual machine through VirtualBox and put a Linux-based operating system on the machine. Alright, so let's get started. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is actually get VirtualBox. I personally prefer VMware, but VMware does cost money. It is not open source. VirtualBox, alternatively, is open source and by proxy is free. So you can see that VirtualBox is a legitimate software. It is created by Oracle. You can check out the company if you would like, if you're at all worried about the legitimacy of VirtualBox as a program. And there are several places to download it. You can either download it from Oracle or you can download it from virtualbox.org. Okay, so the very first thing that we are going to want to do is open up VirtualBox. If you're on a Windows machine, a lot of times you're going to have to run this as administrator. When I try to run VirtualBox without running as administrator, I will run into issues when I go to try to open up my my new virtual machine. Otherwise, if you run it as administrator, you will not have that problem. So we're going to right click again, and give it a moment. And there we go, and we're going to run as administrator. Okay. So now you can see that I already have a virtual machine created, but we're just going to go ahead and create a new one because we're not going to open up that one. So you're just going to click on New. And now you can see that you can name your virtual machine. I'm going to name it VM2. And you can choose where you want your virtual machine to drop into. I'm just going to use the default folder. And then for your ISO image, this will be the system that you want to load onto the machine. So you can see here that I have Tails, Kali, and then of course Windows 11, which is what my host machine is on. Today I'm going to install Kali Linux, which in the name is a Linux-based operating system. So this populates as Ubuntu. I'm going to change it to Debian. Go all the way up. We're going to use 64-bit because I'm on a 64-bit system, and our Kali Linux ISO image is also a 64-bit. You want to make sure that if you have a 32-bit, you're going to change your version to 32-bit. Next, we're going to look at our memory. So as a general rule of thumb, you never want to use more than 25% of your system's RAM to give to your virtual machine. That's to make sure that you have enough space to continue doing whatever you do on your host machine. The way you can check your RAM is on a Windows 11 machine. You're going to come down to search. You're going to look up RAM, and then it should show you your RAM. I know that I have approximately 10 gigs, so this right here, perfectly fine. I'm going to move forward. So now you're going to choose the settings to create your hard disk for this virtual machine. You can put this on a existing hard disk. You can just put it right onto your normal hard disk, your host machine's hard disk, or you can create a virtual hard disk as it allows you to do here. For this, you want to allocate at least 20 to 25 gigs to make sure that it has adequate size to do whatever you're going to do on your virtual machine. All of that being said, the default settings for VirtualBox while creating a virtual machine is to dynamically allocate your hard disk size. That being said, if you would like to use the entirety of your hard disk immediately, you would click pre-allocate full size. Dynamically allocated means that your virtual machine is not going to use up all of the space that you give it until it needs it. Otherwise, if you click pre-allocate full size, it's going to take all of that up right away, and you will be left without that space on your host computer when you might not necessarily need it right away. So going forward, of course, we have it at 20 gigs here. That's perfectly good. And we're going to finish up. Okay, now you can see right here that we have our VM2 and it's powered off, and we can just click start. And you'll see over here it says it's powering it up. Full screen this. Okay, so now this is where we're going to install Kali Linux. So you're just going to press enter when it says graphical install. And you'll get these little invalid argument things. Don't mind them. It's going to continue. Okay, now you're just going to choose your language. Mine is English. I'm in the United States, but if you're in a different country, you can scroll through and choose whichever country you're in. Configure the keyboard. I'm also, again, American, so we're going to use American English. And now we'll go through the installation process. It can be a very long process, so you might want to sit back, relax, and let it do its thing. There will be a few pop-ups here and there, so you want to make sure you're paying attention, because it will, stop the installation, ask you a question, make you choose something. So you want to make sure that you are kind of checking on it every now and again to make sure that you are continuing forward in the installation. Okay, so we're back, and our installation has stopped to allow us to create a host name for our new system, our new Kali Linux system. If you are creating a virtual machine for a company, this will be something already designed for the machine. Otherwise, if you're just creating this for your own home use, your own educational purposes, you can just choose whatever you like. I'm just going to leave it as Kali. And now your domain name is going to be, again, if you are part of a company that already has a domain name, say Amazon.com, you're going to put Amazon.com in there. Otherwise, if you're on a home network like I am, you're just using this for educational purposes. You can just make something up. Again, I'm going to put Kali.com. Okay, so now we are going to set up a username for our new account. Again, this can be whatever you like. I will put, actually it has to be in all lowercase, by the way. So I will put my first name. And now we're going to use a password. You can choose whatever you like. I am just going to leave it as password for now, because nobody but myself will have access to my host machine, and I won't be using this for more than just educational purposes. If you will be using your virtual machine for important things that you want to stay private, you'll want to choose a nice strong password. And now you're going to choose your time zone. I'm in Eastern. Okay, now we've come to the section where we choose how we would like to partition our disk. If you are planning on using your disk for something other than just Kali Linux, and you want to, have other storage on it, you can use either of these options here, or you can do it manually if you would like. For these purposes of this video, we're just going to use the entire disk. We don't have anything else we're going to put on this virtual hard disk. And then, as you can see here, this is our virtual hard disk that we created at the very beginning. Yeah, if you are a new user, you're just going to put all the files in one partition. Otherwise, you can separate home into a partition. You can separate all of these other parts of your system into a partition. Okay, now it's giving you an overview of the partition disks that you have set up here. Admittedly, I don't know too much about partition disks and how to change things and what exactly you need to do, but I'm definitely going to take the initiative to learn more and hopefully come back with another tutorial explaining how to use partition disks alternatively. But for purposes of this video, we are just going to finish partitioning and write our changes to the disk. Now, I'm just going to click yes. Okay, now you'll see that we are installing the base system. This can take a very long time. Like I said, just sit back, relax, maybe do something else. Check on it frequently or semi-frequently to make sure that when these stops come in place that you're answering them. Okay, now it's going to let you select what software you would like to install on top of the core system. If you have any use for Genome or sorry about that. If you have any use for Genome or KDE Plasma, by all means go ahead and install it. These pre-selected options are perfectly fine as well, and they will get you far with Kali Linux. Alright everybody, so we're back. Our installation is almost complete, but now it's asking if we want to install the Grub bootloader. So for the Grub bootloader, this is an incredibly useful component that you can put onto your system. This allows you to boot up into other operating systems. For this system, we are only putting Kali on this virtual machine, so we don't really need it. But it is always good to put onto your system so that you can boot up into different operating systems. So we're just going to go ahead and click yes, and then you're just going to click your hard disk that you created for the Kali Linux machine. Like I said, we are going to be able to install other operating systems on our hard disk with this Grub bootloader. Alright, so we have finally finished installing Kali Linux, so we're going to go ahead and click continue to reboot. Alright, so now you're going to see that Kali Linux is open. It's going to boot on its own in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and you could also click enter if you want it to go a little faster, but now it's going to open itself up, and you can see the Kali Linux logo here, and you can see that we are still in our virtual machine. So remember earlier when we created our username and password, now is the time that we're going to enter that in. So I made mine my first name and my password. And now you'll see that we are on a fully functioning Kali Linux operating system within our Windows operating system. You see I can still click on things in my Windows operating system. I can type in whatever I like here, and I could still open up all my other tabs like this and click right back into my Kali Linux machine. Just to give a quick overview of what Kali Linux does have to offer. So if you come up over here, you'll see that we have our power off. You can also log out if you have another person, another username on this machine, on this operating system. You can restart, you can shut down, all of that good stuff. You can also lock again if you would like to, and then it will make you re-sign in. That's for if you're working and you really want to lock it really fast, you can just click that lock right there. You've got your time, your battery, your notifications. If you go under notifications, you can see that you also have a do not disturb button. So if you have any any system on there, like maybe Discord or something, and you don't want it to disturb you, you can click on Do Not Disturb. Obviously, you have your volume there. If you come over here, you'll see that you have your terminal. You could just click right into your terminal, and then if you go to the drop down menu, it gives you different options for terminals. So you can get into your root terminal, or you can get into the PowerShell right there. You also have Firefox built in. You have a text editor. You can view all of your files here, and then you can also minimize all of your open windows if you have open windows, and it'll just show this back desktop. If you come here, this is sort of like the Windows Start menu, like we have right down here in our search, and then you can come up over here, and you can also search on here. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there are quite a lot of different applications built into Kali Linux. It's really just an amazing operating system, and it has so many different tools. So this is really, the world is your oyster with Kali Linux. You can, spend a lot of time trying out all of these different softwares, and really get your hands dirty, and start learning. So as you can see, there's tons of stuff. You've got NetStat in here. You've got, let's see, you've got Burp Suite. You've got Metasploit. You've already got Metasploit in there. You got Wireshark. You got all that good stuff. So this was a tutorial on how to create a virtual machine with Kali Linux as its operating system. If you enjoyed this video, please like and follow for more, and I'll catch you next time.